This episode is sponsored by AVL. I worked with them to help us conceptualize what it means to reimagine mobility. Imagine is defined as the ability to picture something in our minds, and mobility as the ability to move. Page 235 and 305, respectively, Webster's Concise English Dictionary, Barnes & Noble Books, 1992. That same year my small dictionary was published, 1992, AVL was working on a testbed demonstrator for a full hybrid drive. Known as a Universal Hybrid System, or UHS, it combined a combustion engine with 2 electric motors and a planetary gear. In addition to being an early electrification innovator, AVL would become the first to supply motorsport test beds, which allowed Formula One and IndyCar teams to simulate race engine requirements. AVL is a leading mobility technology company, recognized globally for its engineering, simulation, and testing solutions in the automotive industry, with an ever-expanding and evolving portfolio. AVL's innovations are found in vehicle development, e-mobility, automated and connected mobility, and software. Each AVL innovation today is a step toward a safer and more sustainable world for tomorrow. AVL's 2025 Reimagine Mobility Conference provided attendees a first-hand look at how the company supports its international partners and customers in key areas like electrification, software, AI, and automation. The 2025 event, held in early April at the Suburban Collection Showplace in Novi, Michigan, featured interactive workshops and 6 technical sessions under the theme Where Simulation Meets Engineering and Testing. Over the course of 2 days, AVL customers demonstrated how they use the latest tools and technologies to solve real-world challenges. For example, participants in the Race to Virtualization workshop saw how driving simulators combined with AVL technology can maximize vehicle performance. Other sessions focused on AI-powered digital twin solutions, emissions and regulation changes, fluid dynamics, and what it takes for battery technology to be accepted as safe. Mick Winship, Executive Director for AVL's Advanced Simulation Technologies Division, joined us for a fireside chat at the 2025 Reimagine Mobility Conference. Based in North America, AVL's Advanced Simulation Technologies Division, or AST for short, supports customers throughout the development V process. Areas of simulation focus for AST include vehicle and e-mobility, automated and connected mobility, and internal combustion engines, among others. The work of AVL's AST division is foundational when it comes to reimagining mobility for a new era.
Where simulation meets engineering and testing. AVL Reimagine Mobility.
AST, or the Advanced Simulation Technologies business unit within AVL, it's one of 3, is really there to help design and produce software products that allow us to mathematically model components or systems so that we can really fast-track design, we can fast-track verification, we can support validation exercises at a component level or at a system level. It means we might be able to calculate temperature on a cylinder head or temperature in a battery. It allows us to predict the state of charge and health of a battery. There are other examples of where we can model water, so windshield wipers, or when you open your trunk, how much snow is going to fall in your trunk, especially important here in Michigan.
Of course, yes.
And so on. So we have a lot of great simulation tools, but they're really all designed to help us develop products faster, get them to market faster, and so on.
Mick has been with AVL for nearly 20 years and has more than 30 years of experience in the propulsion and mobility industry as a whole. He brings a wealth of experience to his AVL team members across a range of disciplines, including internal combustion engine development, hybridization, hydrogen technology, and AI strategy.
My role is really to help guide the team, lead and mentor the team. We have 15 people here in North America. We're really a sales organization. So I'm responsible for helping push them, stimulate them, find new opportunities, listen to the market so that we can take back the needs to the development team in Europe. I also have a special role relating to the other business units. I've held different positions in the organization, so I'm very well known and cross-functional in AVL. So I really play a transitional role between our business unit and many of the others.
The powertrain options in the consumer market: internal combustion engines, hybrids, and EVs. As Mick explained during the 2025 AVL Reimagine Mobility event, the path forward, be it with gasoline engines, hybrids, or electrification, is not immediately clear.
All three are in play and more. I'd say we're in a very confused state right now. It's a very complex state. The world has transitioned significantly since COVID. Electrification started to really develop, then vehicle sales started to slow down. Battery electric vehicles are very expensive. They were designed to help us meet regulatory requirements. Now we saw the cost of vehicles get too high. Consumers to satisfy, we've got regulators to satisfy, and so everything's in play. And hybrids in particular are very much in play. You can't get to the regulatory requirements by combustion engines alone. Battery electric vehicles aren't going to sell enough to get to the regulatory requirements. Hybrids become a good bridge between the two, but it's probably the most complex it's ever been, probably the most confusing and most volatile situation we've had in a number of years.
Along with the challenges around the powertrain landscape, Mick also cited the cost of vehicles as something the industry must address. According to Edmunds, the share of consumers taking on loans with new vehicle monthly payments of $1,000 or more was nearly 19% in the fourth quarter of 2024, an all-time high. Meanwhile, 84-month loans hit an all-time high in the first quarter of 2025, making up nearly 20% of new vehicle financing deals, up from 15.8% from the first quarter of 2024. Researchers from Edmunds say the growing share of 7-year auto loans is an indication of persistent affordability pressures in the car market. The average amount financed for a new vehicle purchase was $41,473 in the first quarter of 2025, according to Edmunds data. Meanwhile, according to iSeeCars.com, 1 to 5-year-old pre-owned vehicles experienced their first 12-month price increase since October 2022. The average cost of a 1 to 5-year-old used vehicle is $31,624 as of March 2025, an increase of $317 from a year ago.
And that makes vehicles very, very expensive or very difficult to afford. A lot of the emissions-friendly vehicles, whether they're hybrid or pure battery electric, they tend to be at the higher end of the scale. They're very expensive. Used car sales are still going to stay high. That's really a problem. So we have to get costs down and give the consumer a choice. And I think capital is really another challenge for everybody. Given the uncertainty, where do you make your investments? Where do you make your investments in terms of pure financial dollars and tooling? Or where do you make your investments in human capital? Because all of the labor will need to move around, skills need to move around as technologies change. So a lot of different challenges for everybody. Dollars, recruiting, training, and so on.
AVL and its AST division are mindful of the challenges that exist in automotive, be it around regulation and emissions, time to market, or cost reduction. The AST division leverages the power of virtual twins, which gives customers detailed insight into the behavior and interaction of components, systems, and entire vehicles before they exist physically. The virtual twin covers the complete product, including the mechanics, electronics, software, and physical behavior. This allows customers to identify problems and potential errors early in the development process. During the 2025 AVL Reimagine Mobility Conference, I asked Mick if I were a potential AVL customer, how would the AST team ease my concerns regarding things like cost optimization and time to market.
AVL is uniquely positioned to help here. Clearly from the simulation side of the business, we can, and I can explain a bit more about that. But we have a testing systems product group where we're doing advanced testing systems. We have a applications engineering part of the business where we're consulting. We consult globally, so we're very independent. We're not just a single OEM, we're making relationships around the world. So we see technologies and solutions that other people might not. We do a huge amount of benchmarking, so we're able to collect data. And that really allows us to look at different solutions, different technologies, different products. From a simulation point of view, our role is to really try and speed up the development process, do as much on the computer and in digital situations, reduce the number of physical prototypes that are made. They're expensive, they take a long time, not necessarily very repeatable. Everything in a simulation environment repeats. We can change one parameter, the 99 others that might be involved stay the same. You can really isolate a lot of things.
As our fireside chat concluded, Mick reflected on his 30-year career and offered advice for younger automotive professionals.
I think it's really important to find out what you enjoy, because it's a long time to work. 30 years plus is a long time, I know that. So I think it's most important to find out what you enjoy. If you enjoy it, you'll generally be successful, you'll generally make an improvement. For the younger generation in particular, the Gen Zs, learn to be patient. Life is like, and careers are like the 401k. There will be ups and downs, but you're in it for the long haul. In our business, I think it's really important to understand the product development process. What happens when, why do customers make decisions the way they do, when they do. So get the opportunity to be involved in a product development process. You will likely be in a narrow piece of it, but it's really important to understand the whole breadth. Along those lines, I'd encourage people to cross-train as much as they can when they're young. It's really difficult to do that later on. So if you're a designer, go learn a little bit about manufacturing. If you're a calibration engineer, go learn a little bit about control system, because once you're deep into your career, it becomes really difficult to change and get that learning time back. And most of all, be respectful and have fun.
See the links in the show notes to learn more about AVL, including the Reimagine Mobility Conference and its simulation services. In Novi, Michigan, at the 2025 AVL Reimagine Mobility Conference, alongside Mick Winship. I'm Carl Anthony, AutoVision News Radio.